I'm Carl Hansen, 55 years old, a mechanical engineer with 3 decades of experience and skills so rare you'd need a team of experts from 3 countries to match me. I worked for a Danish engineering firm, a place where I'd earned awards, mentored young talent, and delivered results. My bosses respected my no-nonsense style, fix problems, skip the politics. I ran a side business too, small consulting gigs, all approved by the company. Life was good until a corporate takeover brought in new management with their American cheerleading nonsense. They tried to force me to bend, and when I wouldn't, they fired me over a trumped-up excuse. They thought they'd won. Instead, I turned their game against them, cost them millions, and came out on top, grinning all the way. This is how I got my revenge. It all started in the early 2000s. I'd been with the firm for 20 years, designing specialized machinery for clients across Europe. My expertise was niche, custom solutions for high-stakes projects, the kind where a single mistake could cost millions. I wasn't warm and fuzzy, but I was damn good. If you asked for help, I'd give it. If you wasted my time with team-building nonsense, I'd shut you down. The company paid me well, gave me leeway, and I returned the favor with hard work and mentoring new engineers. My side business, a consulting gig for small projects, was cleared with HR, full transparency, no conflicts. I thought I'd retire there, respected and secure. Then, in 2016, a larger firm acquired us. The new management, 3 suits named Lars, Mette, and Jens, rolled in with promises of business as usual. That lasted a month. They pushed a new culture, unpaid overtime, mandatory pep rallies with clapping and cheering, straight out of some American corporate playbook. I found it humiliating. Engineers solve problems, not chant like cheerleaders. I refused to play along, keeping my head down and my projects on track. My colleagues, especially the younger ones I'd mentored, followed my lead, grumbling about the cringe vibe. For a while, my track record, awards, client trust, and 20 years of loyalty kept me untouchable. But the managers noticed the resistance centered around me. They didn't like that. The pressure started small. Lars called me into his office, all fake smiles. "Carl, we need you to set an example. Join the team spirit." I told him my work spoke for itself. He pushed harder, demanding I attend their rah-rah events. I went, stood in the back, and clapped so half-heartedly it made everyone uncomfortable. Colleagues stifled laughs as Jens, red-faced, yelled at me to show enthusiasm. The room turned awkward, and the event flopped. Then came the overtime demands. "We need you to stay late, Carl," Mette said. I pointed to my contract and the union rules. No overtime without an emergency, and emergencies required union approval. "Show me the emergency," I said. They couldn't. The hostility grew. Snide comments, cold shoulders, meetings where they'd single me out. I knew a showdown was coming. As an engineer, I'm meticulous. I'd been documenting everything: emails, meeting notes, their overtime demands. I had my side business paperwork, signed by my old boss, and the company's IT policy, which allowed personal use of work laptops during breaks, provided it followed security protocols. I sensed they'd try something dirty, so I kept my files tight. My gut was right. One afternoon while I was on a break, I answered a client email for my side business on my work laptop. The next day, Lars, Mette, and Jens called me into a conference room, smug as hell. "You've been using company resources for personal gain," Lars said. "That's theft. You're fired." I leaned back, staring each one in the eyes. "Are you sure you want to do this?" They nodded. "Are you really sure?" They smirked, thinking they'd won. Security escorted me to my desk to drop my phone, badge, and laptop, then out the door. The moment I stepped outside, I was calm. They'd just stepped into my trap. I called my union rep, Eric, and laid it out. He laughed. "They've got nothing. The IT policy allows personal use on breaks, and your side business is approved. This is no just cause." He filed to cancel the firing, sending the case to the labor board for arbitration. Next, I called my lawyer, Surin. I'd prepped him months earlier, sensing trouble. "Send the cease and desist," I said. I held 2 patents, minor ones, specific to my designs at the company. They weren't worth much on their own, but the firm relied on them for key projects. My contract let the company use them for a small pay bump, but if I was no longer an employee, that deal was off. Surin sent the notice: "Stop using my patents or pay up." I went home, poured a coffee, and took a vacation. I had savings to last years, even enough to retire if I wanted. Within a week, 2 competitors called, offering jobs. I declined, but offered consulting through my side business at double my old hourly rate. They jumped at it. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed with colleagues begging for help. My projects, complex, client-critical, were stalling without me. "Talk to management," I said, polite but firm. "I don't work there anymore." Clients tracked down my private number, same story. I referred them to Lars. 2 weeks in, Jens called, voice tight. "Carl, we need your input on the Hansen project." I chuckled. "Sorry, you must think I still work for you." He yelled. I hung up. 3 weeks after the firing, HR called. "Carl, the termination was a mistake. Come back, same role, same pay." I leaned back, smiling. "I'm happy consulting. 6 times my old rate post-tax plus admin fees." They balked, tried to negotiate, but their projects were hemorrhaging money without me. They caved. Then I hit them with the patents. "You're using my IP without permission. Pay the licensing fee." They had no choice. Less than a month after firing me, I was back at my desk. Not as an employee, but as a consultant, charging a fortune. Every time Lars or Meta passed, I'd catch their glares. I'd just grin. 3 months later, the labor board hearing arrived. The company's lawyer argued they'd acted in good faith and offered me my job back for reconciliation. I stood with Eric, stone-faced. "I'm employed elsewhere," I said, nodding to my side business. "I'm not available." The board ruled in my favor. 3 months' pay as damages, 24 months severance, pension included, plus the company covered the union's legal fees. It was a slaughter. I walked out, my bank account fatter, my consulting gig thriving. I stayed on as a consultant, working 20 hours a week at the firm, charging triple what I billed competitors. My asshole tax. The rest of my time went to other clients, raking in more than I'd ever made as an employee. The managers weren't fired, but they were punished. HR carved out a separate budget for their group, docking my consulting fees and the labor board costs from it. They were perpetually over budget, ineligible for bonuses, a big chunk of their pay, for years. Jens quit within a year, unable to stomach it. Lars and Meta stayed, miserable, their authority gutted. Whenever they complained about my rates or attitude, I'd lean back with a shit-eating grin. "What are you gonna do? Fire me?" Colleagues told me the office vibe shifted. The pep rallies stopped. Engineers focused on work, not clapping. Clients praised my return, and I mentored a new crop of talent my way. I retired a few years later, my savings plump, my side business sold for a tidy sum. The firm never recovered its old spark. Too many clients jumped ship during the chaos. Lars and Meta faded into obscurity, their careers stunted. Looking back, I savor that conference room moment, staring down those smug faces, knowing I'd outsmarted them. They thought they could bully me into their corporate circus, fire me over nothing, and move on. Instead, I used their own rules, my patents, and my indispensability to bleed them dry. The money was sweet, but watching them squirm, knowing I'd won, was sweeter. As I sip my coffee now, retired and content, I think of their defeated looks. Thanks, Lars, Meta, Jens. You taught me how to play hardball and win.